In chapter 4, there's a few things that I think are very important that you play with, and it's going to take a while to get used to, not just this week. So, for example, in the processing text section, there's a cut and grep. They talk about basic regular expressions and extended regular expressions. And I'm going to show you a couple of links of places I picked that have some good information on those things, in addition to what's in your book. Other important things are redirection. That's important. And then using some kind of editor, so Nano and Vim. So for now, I'm going to look at grep, and then we can look at, say, Vim later. And just some basics. I've got a web server running over here, and I say need to look at the error log on the server. So let's take a look at that with less. And there's a lot of stuff there. And if you press the space bar once, that jumps to the next screen of text, versus down arrow goes line by line. And those are terminal lines, not lines in the file I'm looking at. Those are two different things. Each line in the file here is probably going to start with a date stamp. So that's one line, and then this is the next line. And I can see that there's a lot of things coming up with Hokum Tokum website on the web, on the errors. All right, so how many lines are in that file? Just the word count on it. All right, 2,642. That's a lot of lines. So I want to know which lines are related to Hokum Tokum. So I'm going to go back to here, and instead of less, I'm going to use cat. That puts the output in standard output instead of the pager. And then I'm going to pipe it to grep, and I'm going to say grep, just show me lines that are related to Hokum. Let's say spell it. So grep will show there's a lot. Okay, how many? So remember, I did a word count, 2,642 separate lines. Each line's date stamped. And then here, instead of cat, I'm going to do a word count on it. Oh, no, sorry, I got to do it this way. Let's see. First, we need to cap the file. Then we need to filter out with grep the lines that are Hokum Tokum. And then I can send with pipe that over to word count and count the lines that have Hokum Tokum in it. So most of them, only 40 or a little less than 40 did not, 37. Related to Hokum Tokum. So I'm gonna do some research then on my web server. What's going on? Why is that site getting hit with all these error messages? So grep again can help me filter, sort, filter really what I'm looking at there. So the idea of piping a command's output into grep was introduced in chapter 3. Chapter 4 takes it a little bit farther. Now grep is a regular expression tool. And regular expressions take some getting used to. So I've got a couple pages here I want to look at. So basic regular expressions are what grep works with. So we have the dot, which if you put that in there matches any single character. We have square brackets, which can represent a group of characters one at a time. The caret inside that looks at everything but the characters in between here, and there's some examples down below. So if you did .at, it would find things like hat, cat, bat. If you did square bracket HCAT, that would find HAT or CAT in the text. And if you did inside the square brackets a caret B, that is anything that ends in an AT but does not start with a B. So it wouldn't find bat in that case. And they give a few other examples. If the caret is in the beginning, not inside the square brackets, then that looks for something at the beginning of the line. And if you put a $sign at the end of the expression, that looks for something at the end of the line. And then the asterisk will match 0 or more of whatever the previous character set was. And just takes getting used to that. And there's extended regular expressions which give more information. And so here is another page, and I'll put a link to both these pages in the description of the video. This is an excellent tutorial at DigitalOcean about using grep. And so I'm going to get that started with you too here. So let's do it. So here in the basic usage, they say, check to see if you have this file, GPL3. So user share common licenses. Let's go look. So I'm going to get away from my web server, and I'm going to head over here to my local computer. Now let's pull this up a little bit. And where am I at now? I should be in my root directory. So I'm going to move into my work directory for this class. Let's take a look at what I have in there right now. It looks like I copied one of the files they referenced down here already. I did that CP command. So let's just go take a look at what's in there. So we're going to do an ls on user share, and notice I'm using tab complete so I don't have to type the whole thing. So there's the common licenses, and in this tutorial they want you to grab the BSD license, which I already copied over, and then they want you to grab the GPL3 list one. And if they don't happen to be in your system, then curl will go and grab, say, that from a website. So your computer probably has curl on it, but most likely your distribution will have these common licenses for your software. So we're going to then CP. So we can just bring that up and change this to CP. So up arrow for the previous command. And I want GPL3. You hit tab twice, it'll show you ways to complete. And I want to copy it to my current directory, which is dot. So now if I do an ls there, I should see I have GPL3 in there in addition to BSD. And that, right, wasn't up there before. Cool. So now that I have those in there, I can then try some of the things they suggest here. So let's come down here. So they say grep GNU inside GPL3. So the way grep works is you type the command and then the pattern that you're trying to find, and then the file you're looking in. So it's always grep pattern file. So here I want to do a grep, looking for GNU, and some systems you don't have to quote it. I don't think I have to quote it here. It should find me all the lines that reference GNU, one line at a time. So that should match the output they have here, and the 3 dots mean they're just skipping over some of it, but the top of it should look like that. The -I ignores case. So if you notice, the word license up here occurs with an uppercase L and sometimes a lowercase l. So let's just do a grep license. It's the license today inside the GPL file. And I'm just going to we'll do it once, and I can see there's a whole bunch. And I'm just going to pipe that over to word count to see how many. And the first number in word count is the number of lines that were found. So I can see lowercase license was found in 40 different lines. If I put an uppercase license in there, that happened in 72 lines. Now, there could be an uppercase and a lowercase in the same line. So if I put those together, so if I put a -I in front, that will ignore case, and I should get more. So notice it's not exactly 40 plus 72, which means uppercase license and lowercase license probably reside in the same line together somewhere. Alternately, what I could do instead of that is I could use the square brackets and say I want either a capital L or a lowercase l, and then license after that. And if I put that in the word count, and oh, interesting, that counted a little bit differently. We'll look into why later. Fun. All right, let's see. dash V is inverts the search. So it would find every line that didn't have it. So for example, if we do a cat on GPL and then pipe that into word count, and I'm just doing this to count lines to see the difference between things. So overall, how many lines are in that file? There are 674 lines in that license. And then if we then do a grep on that file with, let's actually use this one. So here, no, this one. So the second time I ran it, I found 72 lines out of 674. If I put a dash V in front like that, that will find any lines that don't have license in it. So that should be the other 602. So you can use grep to filter. And again, I'm just using word count, WC to count lines. Usually when we run grep, we're going to do something like that. Now, extended regular expressions have an or operator. Regular grep, basic regular expressions does not, or an and. So if I wanted to do something, find lines that have license and GPL, there's a couple ways to do that. I could just put license there, and then GPL, and here's where I'm going to use quotes. So let's quote that. And there were no licenses that have license space GPL. So it's looking for an exact match for that grouping. So what I want to do instead is pull out the GPL. So find all the license lines, and then in the license lines, I could look for then GPL. So this is not an or, this is an and to find both of those. So then I would send it back to another grep. And this time I could look for GPL in those lines there. And I'm not going to put the file because grep's going to take the output of the first one and then use it. So this will look for license, and then license line is going to find lines that also have GPL. And there are none where license and GPL does not come up in the same line. Fascinating. Okay, let's do another test. So we got all of those. And, oh, gee, I want GNU, not GPL. That's what I did wrong. GPL's name of file. First letter of GPL stands for GNU. So then it filtered out the lines that don't have GNU and gave me the ones that have license and GNU in the same line somewhere. So grep is a powerful tool. It's worth learning how to use it to filter when you're looking through a file, searching for things, and also to filter based on output. What else did I think was cute about grep? You can do character ranges. So for example, suppose I only want lines that start with a capital letter in there, like the beginning of a paragraph kind of thing. Then I would do something like this. Caret to start with, and then square bracket for a group. And then I would just do capital A dash Z, and the dash says grab all characters in between capital A and capital Z. So this will then give me any lines that start with a capital letter. So beginnings of paragraphs is what it's giving me there. And character ranges work for uppercase, lowercase, and numerals. So like if I'm looking for a certain date, so an example of that, if I go back here to my web server, notice the date stamps in here. So maybe in the error log, I only want stuff within like the last hour. So then I would do something like 18 colon, this is running on Universal Standard Time, which is Greenwich Mean Time, which is 8 hours from where I am now. So the time's a little off from my local server. And then I might do, I could just do a star, or I could do something like maybe just the first 10 minutes of the 18th hour. So then I would do 0 and then 0-9. So that will find 18:00, 18:01, 18:02, and so on in that file. And what? There's none of those? Okay, let's see. It should be the syntax. I did this earlier. Let's double check here. That should work all right. There must not be any in that time frame. 17. No. 16. There we go. Okay, so there's some in that hour there. So again, we can use character ranges too, is the point of that part. All right, that's it on grep for now. Check out the links in the description for basic regular expressions, which are what grep uses, and then some more information on how to use those. Oh, the line number option, the -n, that's a cool one too. Which line in the file does it happen in? All right, so again, playing with Linux takes practice. You just got to put in some time. Good luck with your time on this. Take care.